Oh, we're gonna get in trouble for that.
Yes.
The heck, Brucifer, bro. There we go.
That works.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
Hi and hello, everyone, and welcome to the Legal Friday Night Show. Max is in Zombieland.
Yeah.
And sadly, he won't join us, or he's not going to join us at this time anyway.
He has all Z's.
All right. Well, this was a show done at his request, by the way.
Absolutely.
FYI. But
Right.
hey, all right. So what we're going to discuss tonight, everybody, is the Jonathan Majors issue. Now, this is kind of an old story at this point, but it's popped back up in the news because there's talk of him coming back to Marvel. And, you know, I don't think that everybody understood exactly what was going on legally. So I want to throw out that I am not a criminal lawyer from New York, but I am a lawyer and I do understand somewhat what's going on. And I've just done some of the research for us just to kind of get out there to see what's going on. Right? Because, Brian, just as somebody who's been following this passively, what do you understand happened? He was just like arrested for assault, basically, or charged with
Basically, more or less. I know he was forceful with a woman. I don't know the extent of what, how, nothing at all. So this is, I am learning right now.
Right. And that's the whole goal of this thing. Again, we're doing this dispassionately. We're not on anyone's side. We're just discussing facts here and just kind of clarifying it, because you hear stuff like assault and Disney's fired him and you think, holy crap, he must have done something really bad. And I'm not saying he didn't do anything really bad.
Well, but assault's kind of an amorphous term though, right? I mean, it includes so much.
100%. Exactly correct, Brian. That's the whole point of this, that assault can mean a whole bunch of things. Like there's assault where if you beat up an old lady, try to take her purse and beat the heck out of her. Then there's assault where you just kind of nudge somebody purposely. You know what I mean? And we'll kind of see that will play out here a little bit. So let's just get into it. And again, everybody, we've been accused on these shows of taking a side one way or another. That is not the case. I promise you. It is strictly, objective. And again, you be the judge. Listen to this, fact check me, and then make your own decisions. That's all I want to say. Okay, so let's start with the fact that Jonathan Majors and his girlfriend were in what you would call it, I guess, a toxic relationship. And Brian, tell me this. Have you ever had a friend who had a girlfriend and they were just constantly fighting and you're like, why the hell? These people make each other miserable all the time. You know?
You guys hear outside of my house? Outside of my room? No, I'm kidding.
So that happens is the point. Everybody knows a situation like that. And, what happens between couples, or friends, that kind of thing. But so here's the allegations, okay? So the prosecutor, and again, this is the state going after Jonathan Majors. It's not her specifically in the criminal trial, obviously. It's the state of New York. So the prosecutor said in his opening statement that Kang roughed up his girlfriend in March to cover up infidelity. That's the accusation, right? He roughed up his girlfriend. Again, what does roughed up mean, right?
Yeah, that's like, it can mean a lot of things.
Right. And that is, again, a quote from his opening statement, but that is the crux of what it is. And that can be really bad. Obviously, nobody should be roughed up, in any circumstances. So Jonathan Majors, his defense to it was that the only person who emerged from the car with bloodied or hurt was the one who slapped or clawed was Majors himself. In other words, he was saying she was the aggressor. And he actually filed a countersuit. We're not going to get into that countersuit because it's less interesting. The only witness to the event describes Miss Jabari as a psycho girl. Jabari, you'll see her name mentioned throughout these slides. That is the name of his girlfriend, the last name of his girlfriend. So he denied that he assaulted her, and his defense team alleged that she was the aggressor and that she made up the whole story to, get back at him because he broke up with her. So already we're kind of seeing what's going on here, right? They had a fight.
They're setting the stages for what would be a kind of, at this point, maybe a back and forth relationship.
Right. And then on top of that, he's saying that she's upset with him that he broke up with her, and she's now trying to punish him for that, essentially. That's his story, We're not the jury. They had a jury listen to this whole trial, so we'll see what happens. So here's the key, everybody. This is the key to what Jonathan Majors is accused of, okay? And this is the alleged victim's own testimony. Okay. She testified that she grabbed his phone after seeing a text message from another woman. She says she described that I keep calling him Kang, that Majors attempted to forcibly retrieve his phone from her, and she felt a hard blow across her head that resulted in bruising, swelling, and substantial pain. Jabari told him to show her the messages and went to grab his phone. She turned away with his phone and felt a heavy weight on top of her. He was trying to pry the phone out of her hand. When that wasn't successful, he put my hand behind my back. Jabari testified it was just, okay, so you kind of see what's happening here, right? So this is the alleged assault. And this is it, everybody. This isn't that he came, and again, I'm not excusing any behavior, but this isn't like he came home, they got into an argument, and he smacked her. This isn't that. This is they were in the back of a limo, and she saw a text message from another woman come through, and she said, "Give me your phone." And when he wouldn't give her his phone, she grabbed it from him. Okay? Yeah. So what do you think, Brian, grabbing another man's phone?
Well, I mean, it's not your phone. Don't touch it.
It's not your phone. But yes, so that was the impetus of it. She grabbed the phone from him. She admits that she grabbed the phone from him and that there was a struggle for him, And again, I'm not excusing anyone's behavior, but you imagine somebody grabs your phone to look at something maybe you don't want them to look at, whatever that is,
Yeah, but either
I don't
way,
want anyone to my phone.
I mean, how would the shoe feel if it were on the other foot? Like, what if he was grabbing for her phone? You know what I mean? Like, and she were to pull away or something like that, and a scuffle would have occurred. I mean, that's where it's like, it's kind of he said, she said at that point, right? Like,
right. And all I'm saying, everybody, is imagine somebody says, "Let me see your phone," and you say no, whether it's your friend, your cousin, whatever it is, or your girlfriend or your boyfriend, and you say no, and then they grab it from you. What is your natural instinct going to be? I would imagine trying to retrieve the phone. So this is where she's alleging that he got rough with her after him when he was trying to retrieve the phone. That's her own testimony, remember. Okay, so then she gets into He took the phone back. He ordered the driver to pull over, and then he got out of the limo. She tried to get out too. She said, "I was in pain, but I was just thinking, who's this girl?" Juror saw videos of Kang picking up Jabari when she tried to get out of the SUV and tried to put her back inside. So he got out of the car. She tried to get out too. He tried to push her back in the car, right?
Yeah.
And then we saw the clips of him chasing her and that kind of thing to get her back in the, no, he takes off and chases him. We saw that video. Sorry. See, I misstated the testimony too. She chased him. So the jury reviewed this surveillance film and then also testimony from a woman who attended a nightclub with Jabari after the alleged assault. So this alleged assault took place and then she went to a nightclub. Is that relevant? It's a fact, though, right? This is what the jury heard, right? Now, somebody who's been beaten badly or anything like that, I don't think they're going to a nightclub. You know what I mean? Probably they change their plans for the evening. But again, you think, right?
I'm going to go home and sleep this one off. And yeah, I know.
Right. Maybe eat a pint of ice cream or, you know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah.
But you're not.
Option's not like I'm going to hit the club.
Right. I'm not going to go to the club. Again, this is just for context, right? And this is stuff that everybody needs to know. Okay. So the sole witness to the incident was the driver of the SUV, right? So he said Majors was not doing anything to Jabari in the vehicle. But while he was trying to get out of the car, he was trying to throw her in, the driver told jurors. I do remember Kang was pushing her back in the car trying to get rid of her. So the testimony from the driver, who's, again, the only person in the car, said that she was the aggressor and that he wasn't really doing anything. He was trying to push her off of him. So this is all the information the jury is getting, right?
Yeah.
So now, is that driver biased because Jonathan Majors is a big celebrity, blah, blah, blah? Who knows? Whatever it is, this is what the jury heard. They're allowed to make their assessment onto his credibility, you know? Okay, so now let's get into the charges. The charges. Charge 1, harassment in the second degree. So this is where I wish Bruce Fur was with us with his experience in law. So there's such a thing as crimes, obviously, misdemeanors, and then there's violations in New York State. Violations are essentially the equivalent of parking tickets. They don't go on your record the same way. They aren't held against you the same way. They're much lighter. So the standards for that: a person is guilty of harassment in the second degree with the intent to harass, annoy, or alarm another person. He or she strikes, shoves, kicks, or otherwise subjects the other person to physical contact. Now, I highlighted that because that's your situation here, essentially. This is what they're trying to go after.
Made physical contact to get her back in the car.
And to get her
from taking his phone.
Right. So that's the first one. Again, this is not a criminal charge. That's very important. Okay, so the jury heard the evidence. Now, I'm giving you a summary of the evidence, the key points. There's obviously a lot more that the jury would have heard, but, we're going to get into all that, but I gave you the meat of it. And the verdict was he was guilty of that. Again, not a criminal charge, everybody, but he was guilty of that particular finding. Okay? They brought 4 counts against him. This is just the first one. The second count, aggravated harassment in the second degree. So to this one, a person is guilty of aggravated harassment in the second degree when with the intent to harass another. Intent. So, Brian, I'm just curious, as a layperson, what does intent mean?
Well, I'm thinking of it, or oh gosh,
I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
I'm intending to do something. I mean to do you harm. Is that? That's how I interpret it.
Whatever it is,
I put heart behind my actions.
Right. You had a plan and you had an intention. It could be to bake a cake. You had an intent to do it. You didn't do it by accident. Right. So that's what this charge is. So with the intent to harass another person, the actor either with the intent to harass, annoy, threaten, or alarm another person, he or she. So it's almost the exact same things as the other charge, but this time there's the element of intent. Intent is required. The other charge doesn't require intent, meaning I'm grabbing my phone. I'm not intending to harm her. I just want my phone back. But you could still get nailed with it, but it's only a violation. This one is I'm intending to harm the person or I'm intending to strike them. So in this scenario, it would be he wasn't just trying to get his phone back. He was trying to hurt her and get his phone back, right?
Yeah.
So that one is a misdemeanor. It's actually a crime. And when the jury heard the evidence, he was not guilty. So again, why wasn't he guilty? I mean, I didn't pull the jurors, obviously. But based on the law, we can assume that it's because they could not nail him with the intent aspect. There was no.
I mean, he didn't intentionally try to hurt her. What happened to her resulted of actions she took against him.
Right. But the prosecutors were saying he did intend to hurt her. Yes, exactly. That's what the jury got. Right. So then the question becomes, why did the prosecutors even try to bring this charge? Right. How could they prove intent? He was trying to grab his phone. Their argument was that no, he wasn't just trying to grab his phone. He was intending to hurt her and grab his phone back at the same time. So jury didn't buy it. Everybody, Kang wins. Okay.
Something tells me it's not going to be the first or last time that Kang wins at anything. Get it? Marvel joke. Pew pew.
Hey, this is a comic book show. So we have to honor that tradition. So okay, the next charges are kind of mixed. So attempted assault in the third degree. So there's different types of third degree assault. So you can get charged with one, and then you can get charged with another. And they tried to go after him for two. The first one they went after him for was a person is guilty of assault in the third degree when, again, I highlighted with intent to cause physical injury to another person, he causes such injury to another person, whatever, in the thing. So again, we know the facts. Again, they're going after him for intentional assault. Not guilty, everybody. Okay? So again, the jury, and that's consistent with the last charge that they didn't find him guilty. In other words, the jury did not think that the prosecutor could prove that Jonathan Majors had intent to harm his girlfriend. Right?
Yeah.
This to me is the key, right? Right. Like there's a huge difference between intending to harm somebody. And again, by the way, the penalties for intentional harm, I don't need to tell you, they're much different than if you did it unintentionally, right? Intent to harm is you wanted to hurt somebody. The courts are going to punish you much, more significantly for something like that. So again, he had a victory there. Now, the final one was assault in the third degree, but this is under another element where he recklessly causes physical injury to another person. So, Brian, again, I'm going to put you on the spot. What do you think recklessly causes injury? Can you think of what that means?
Well, just I'm not paying attention. I'm being reckless.
Right.
It's more like an accidental type stuff. That's why they say no horseplay in the shop. Because if you're doing that, you're being reckless and you get hurt.
That's a perfect example, right? And the classic example also, other than that, is you're on top of the Empire State Building and you decide to throw pennies off of it. And a penny strikes somebody who's walking by on the sidewalk down below and gets nailed with the penny. You were just throwing the penny off the skyscraper. You didn't intend to hit anybody, but you acted recklessly by not taking into account that, hey, I could throw this penny off and it could hit somebody, right?
Yeah.
So that is a lesser charge, but it is a charge nonetheless.
Well, it's like throwing rocks off an overpass, or to a smaller degree, or
Yeah, or like when they catch you for speeding over a certain limit, they give you reckless endangerment, meaning that what you're doing is so reckless, like even though you didn't intend to harm anybody, it's so stupid and reckless that you should have known that there was potential consequences to your actions, type of thing.
Yeah.
So that he was found guilty of. Okay. So that is pretty much the end of it. So what we have is a situation here again, and the key I wanted to bring to everybody is this is not a situation because if you look at the news stories, just Google Jonathan Majors' verdict, right? And they'll say Jonathan Majors convicted of assault. Jonathan Majors are convicting of assaulting his girlfriend. Blah blah blah. It sounds terrible, right?
Yeah, but what he really got convicted of is she got hurt because she was holding on too hard and fell. More or less.
She took his cell phone. He tried to grab it back. She alleges she got hurt when he tried to take it back.
Yeah. So, wow.
So he lost his job, right?
Wow. Yeah.
Disney canceled him. They came out and made a statement. Now, when I heard, even me, before I looked into this case, when I heard Disney canceled him, I'm like, Disney has investigators. They know what really happened. They know what the evidence is. They don't make these decisions lightly. There must be something really bad going on in there for them to cancel him. Now, when you look at this, I'm not saying what he did is right, again, but it's not what the perception is publicly, in my opinion. I feel
like they're being heavy-handed here.
Right.
Just a bit.
If you look at this from what it is, yeah. I would agree with you on that.
Well, but now, in similar reality, I mean, the same thing with Gina Carano. I mean, it was made more a mountain out of a molehill real quick,
Yeah, right. And again, when people spin things and that kind of thing, and they spin these things and they're banking on people not actually looking into it, which kind of is bothersome to me personally, but whatever. It's the world we live in,
They hypothetically smeared this man's name on streams that I was personally taking place in for ever and ever and ever. And the first thing they were like, are they going to recast Kang? What are they going to do about Kang? I don't know. This looks bad.
They got to recast
Kang. They got to recast Kang. Oh, what are they going to do? It's like, no, they're just going to bring in the X-Men and everybody's going to forget about Kang.
Well,
oh man,
look, hey, when I heard that he had assaulted a woman, I was like, oh, they got to recast him. Like, they can't. Disney can't have
it. Yeah, but that's your first gut feeling. Like anytime something like this happens, but like once everything's said and done and it shook itself out, this is the parking ticket.
Right, and
like the grand scheme of things, guys. I'm not saying it's right. It's just
this is the reality, everybody. That's the whole point of this. This is just for everybody to see what's really going on, because I don't think people know what happened, and they could find out. It's just you got to burn some calories to look into it, and you're not that interested. Oh, hey, Variety reported that he was arrested for assault and Disney fired him. That's all you need to hear, most people.
Yeah, must be bad. What's on the next page?
Oh, a man hit a woman? Again, I'm not minimizing that, but that's man assaults woman. What does assault mean? Like there's layers, obviously. The law has layers. I don't create these layers. There's layers of assault, as weird as it sounds, There was he's appealed all of this, by the way, for his reputation and all that kind of thing. His appeal is unpleasant, and his attorney has taken the tact of, and I don't blame them, they're appealing. It's very hard to appeal something like this. They're taking the race aspect of it. He was a black dude with a white woman, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're pulling out all the stops, obviously. But the man's lost his career. And the stuff that came out at trial, and maybe this affected Disney's decision, right? The stuff that came out at trial, which I didn't talk about, when you have these kinds of assault trials, they want to present to the jury that this wasn't a one-time weird thing because he just grabbed her phone back from him. No, he's been a jerk to her in the past. Like, she tells stories how he said that he's a prominent figure in the African-American community, and she needs to be more like Michelle Obama or Martin Luther King's wife. If she's going to marry him, she's got to be more presentable in that regard. So we don't know if this is true because he doesn't testify, right? Criminal trial, it's almost stupid to testify if you're a criminal defendant.
But that's his lawyers show up, sign some paperwork, and
Yeah, I mean, you why subject yourself to cross-examination when the state has to prove the case against you, and your testimony might actually help them prove the case. So you don't testify. But some stuff came out about him being kind of like an obnoxious and arrogant jerk. But again, that doesn't mean that he's a woman beater, which is essentially what we kind of have him painted as now. So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted everybody to know. And if there is real now you might be wondering, and then this is the other reason I want this. If there is real consideration by Marvel to bring him back, they know everything we talked about here today. Everybody, they know what it really is. So how will they spin it? They know it wasn't as bad as what some people might think without looking. I'm not going to get into how some dudes get railroaded and stuff like this. You know what I mean? Because it just sounds so bad. I'm not going to get into that. But this is the reason why there's even a chance of him coming back, because it ain't so bad is my point. Some people might not think it's that bad, right? She took his phone. He's trying to grab it back.
I can see him coming back. I mean, I don't see this being a be all end all. I mean, even the same could be considered with Johnny Depp to a point. I don't think it should have ruined his career, but timing is everything, I guess.
Yeah,
and
right.
Unfortunately, with the timing of him, it just kind of when everybody's getting accused, he just got caught up in a sea of accusation, and unfortunately,
yeah. And
not a lot of it got sorted out.
Yeah, my initial reaction to this whole thing, besides thinking like, oh yeah, he hit a woman, my thinking was like, what is this guy, stupid? His career was on like a track of, he was on the up and up, big time.
He just cashed in with Marvel, like he was going to be the next big thing for the next.
Clubber Lang, yeah, you know what I mean. His career was just about to really explode. And I'm like, what kind of an idiot does something like this? It's like kind of like when you hear about draft picks the night before the draft, they get a DUI.
Yeah, get drunk and drive. It's like, yeah, seems all right. Yeah.
Yeah, like call it Uber, dude.
They're throwing money at you left and right. What do you do? Let's go party.
Yeah, but you think that you'd know not to take a risk when you have that in front of you. But you think the guys are just dumb, or they think they're indestructible, whatever. That's what I thought about Jonathan Majors. After looking into the facts, everybody, I personally have changed my opinion on it. I'm not trying to sway anyone's opinion. I just wanted to give the facts.
You've definitely put it in a different perspective, different way of looking for me. Because, dang, I see. Lord, Jonathan Majors didn't do it.
Yeah, well, he did something, but he didn't do what we thought he did. And yes, finger drawing women, you can't live with them. We're not saying that is not the views of this channel.
Yeah.
I
know it's a figure drawing, but awesome.
Okay.
All right.
Well, everybody, thank you for indulging me. I love doing these kind of videos. I try not to make them boring because we're talking about legal facts. I do my best to try to just open everybody's mind and just show them what's out there.
Hell yeah. No, this is great. I'm glad Max said this this whole thing in mind. Yeah, I mean, I kind of found a couple articles and stuff if we wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, go for it.
We can probably call it a night
Mm-hmm.
early since we started so damn late. But before we get too much further, there is a pinned comment in the chat.
Oh, yes.
Let's see here. Hold on really quick. No, invite guests. Present. I got to share the screen here. We're going to do this. Do that. Do that. All right. Oh, pardon the expletives. Okay. But absolutely, F cancer. It's a terrible, terrible thing. But I'm gonna pull this up really quick. But anyways, one of my coworkers, she's a really nice lady. She's being treated for it right now. So most of her like medical stuff has been covered, but she kind of needs a little bit of money so she can rest and just take the time to get on the mend. But she needs everyday like expenses and stuff like that. The company we work for, they're doing what they can, but every little bit helps. So I would appreciate it. Anybody, just for anybody, I would appreciate you if you can, but if not, no worries. I understand. Money's tight as is always. But anyways, on to the news. Oh shit! We're gonna share this tab.
And while you're just looking up, so yeah, I don't know, Anthony. Was his legal team to fault for this? When you hear the facts, I get why you think that. Now,
I would say his PR teams didn't get ahead of this.
Well, how did the lawyer? So it's ultimately the lawyer's job to frame the evidence to the jury. Look, I gotta be, and I'm not. His attorneys are high-end attorneys. Jonathan Majors is not getting crummy attorneys. Everybody. He's getting attorneys with reputations who know how to present cases to juries. The reckless stuff is tough. If somebody grabs your phone and you're trying to take it back from them and they get hurt when you're trying to take it back from them, that's reckless if they get hurt. And then if you see, yeah, no problem. If you see a 115-pound woman and then you see Jonathan Majors, muscly, 240 pounds, you could say, yeah, he could have recklessly harmed her. Now the first charge, I get it. The second charge that they got him for, the one that's actually a charge, even though it's only a misdemeanor, I get where maybe you could argue that his attorneys, was she really hurt? It's just so, I don't know if I'm ready to say to crap on his attorneys necessarily, but the jury, they're put in a tough position on something like that. But sorry, go ahead.
Oh, absolutely. No, I can only imagine. Well, I imagine also his PR team probably really screwed the pooch by not getting ahead of this.
Good God.
They should have.
Yeah. It's almost like there was no Jonathan Majors PR on this thing.
None. It was like, dude, everybody just turned their back and said, "Oh, what? Who?"
Yeah, I think they released the video. They were accused of releasing the video of him running away from her out of the car early. But why didn't you just get out in front of that and say, you know what? She took his phone and he tried to. I would have just told the facts.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if they would actually explain what was going on, publicly. So that's what I'm saying. When stuff like this gets tried out in public, the verdict is completely different.
Yeah, right.
I mean, this poor guy was signed, sealed, and delivered. Yeah,
you just think that. Well, whatever. Again, they pay people a lot of money to do this stuff. Doesn't mean they know what they're doing. What do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, there you go. Let's see here. Well, there's good news for at least me. For anybody that has enjoyed the Fallout series thus far, Fallout TV series has officially been renewed for a second season on Prime Video. Let's see here. Just a week after its premiere, Prime Video has officially renewed the Fallout for a second season. The streaming platform announced today. Jonah, Lisa, and Graham have captivated the world with the groundbreaking, wild ride of a show. The bar has been set high for lovers of the iconic video game, and so far, we seem to have exceeded their expectations, while bringing in millions of new fans to the franchise. Amazon MGM Studios head Jennifer Salke said in a statement. Well, yeah, absolutely. Fallout it's been refreshing for a TV show. Just because.
It is nice. I've only seen the one episode, but you can tell. I mean, as weird as it sounds, you can tell something's quality just from even one episode. The care they put into it.
Oh no, the quality that they put into it, the care and the detail that they put into a lot of the the little background things. Just watching I've spent over a week just watching Easter egg videos, and every person finds something new every time they go over it. So I mean, this show is just amazing, and not only that, but it's reinvigorated the love for the game. I mean, not just for me, but for other people as well. And I mean, if you've never played Fallout, it's not a bad game. If you have Game Pass or Xbox or a PC that can, maybe run like a 360 game, there are at least 4 Fallout games you can play on those. That's how my computer is. And it's
Yeah, and I never played the game, but I never played Last of Us either, and I enjoyed Last of Us. We were talking about it the other night. The storylines of the video games, I think this is the future to some extent. These writers kind of know what they're doing, obviously, if the game is popular.
Well, I think a lot of these writers grew up playing these games, and they have that reverence for what they're doing, and you could say that about some of the writers, I guess, these days, but like,
How close is it? Let me ask you, as somebody who's never played the game, and I've only seen the first episode, is the lore, is it close to what the game's lore was?
Yeah, and from what I understand, it's canon to the games. So all the events that take place in this show will take place in the game, like from a distance. It's kind of weird because all the Fallout games reference each other in various ways. So like there'll be certain factions or other parts of the game that are recognized or have power in certain parts of the game, or certain characters will show up on the East Coast, in different locations, and just stuff like that. And it really adds to like the whole, like, I don't know. It's definitely a show for people who are into the member berry type action.
Right. So the stuff in the first episode where she's planning the marriage and all that that's in the game, just like that.
Well, more or less. They're getting like stat checks and putting your setting your skills before you go out into the wilderness, kind of thing. And then that was very apt, especially if you played some of the recent offerings.
It's awesome. So this is Max's theory that video game writers are better than Hollywood writers, and they're taking their stories.
Well, yeah, absolutely, because a lot of them are actually better. But no, it's actually, that's very true. The gaming industry makes a hell of a lot more money than the movie industry and the music industry put together. They used to be the juggernauts. Let's see. But yeah, there's that, and then other than that, dude, I didn't really have any stories for you guys. We could do like a tier list or something right quick, or
yeah, sure. What do you think?
I don't want to hold you up, man.
No, I'm good. I was ready to do the whole thing, so my thing was quick. A tier list of what were you thinking?
I don't know. What was entertaining? And then it's just the two of us, so it's like, I don't know.
It's a 2-man tier list. There's not as much debate. Yeah.
It's usually just streamlined. Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
We always do like, I don't know. We'll probably just kind of wrap.
Yeah,
it
we
up.
can.
I do have to get to work in the morning.
Okay.
I was hoping we could do more, but Max needed to be here for this. And
Yeah. Well, maybe he wakes up later.
no,
Well, everybody, thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, we wanted to give you guys something tonight, and I hope it was informative, if nothing else.
Okay, where in the hell is that? Okay, Team MME outro. All right, man, everybody. Have a good
night and good luck.
Bye.